Financial Journey of an Old Man, From Bankruptcy to Millions. Chapter 1, Bankruptcy and How I Dealt with It. Discovering how to harness the power of the mind, especially for attracting wealth and abundance, has been a central part of my journey, which started when I experienced bankruptcy. I was deeply overwhelmed by debt, with credit card dues running by the millions. Sleepless nights, nervous breakdown, the bleak picture of a person deeply buried below the ground due to financial mismanagement. Almost every day I felt scared, bills piling up, pantry getting empty, no food on the table, and when I opened my wallet, only credit cards and pieces of paper reminding me when to pay monthly dues. It was one of the most terrible nightmares a person could ever have, thinking that tomorrow, hundreds of thousands of financial debts should be settled regardless of how much I have in my wallet. But where would I get the money to pay all of these? My bank calling me almost every day, reminding me to pay dues which I failed to settle last month. Utility companies threatening me to cut off their services because I could not pay the monthly dues, electricity, water, internet, phone, you name it. And when I looked outside, I saw ordinary people doing their normal lives, sweeping the street, carrying posts, driving public transport. I told myself they were more blessed because they have not been experiencing what I was going through. Even a beggar was richer than me because he had not to go to the bank to settle his debts. I was in terrible confusion and paralyzed by fear, not knowing what to do. Confusion and fear were part of my daily life. Ways to make your mind believe you can attract wealth. One of the most important things I've realized along the way is that mind power works best when it's applied with ease and flow. That I needed to be at rest to think clearly. But who in his right mind could do that? It was like a paradox. You wanted to rest so you could think clearly to solve your problem. But you were restless because you know that you're out of time as the bills keep on piling up and your creditors were all haunting you, demanding you to pay quickly. You don't need to force or fight for the life you want. In fact, the more you scuffle, the more you block the very things you're trying to attract, that is money. It is similar to a person who accidentally fell to a sinking hole. The more he struggles, the more he sinks. So the common advice of sinkhole experts is for that person to stay calm first, and then slowly try to be in crawling position and then wade his way out of the mud hole. Transforming your life with changed thinking is more like performing a shift in your thoughts and perspective than anything else. You gently persuade your mind to believe you already have what you need, and then, almost astoundingly, your external world begins to align with that belief. And like any good idea is too good to be true, it feels impossible at first until you learn how it's done. Then it all starts to feel surprisingly natural. Sounds impossible at first, but as you go and fight your way to overcome your debt problems, starting with small steps, then those few steps become bigger phases, growing bigger and bigger every day you patiently work on it. And then you find yourself able to smile a bit now, can breathe fresh air of hope, that there is still light at the end of the tunnel, and it is not an incoming train, but rays of sunshine, hope, fresh start. Victory. Yes, it sounds simple, but the steps I'm about to share are designed with changing effects in the life of each individual. You can start right away, today, to invite greater prosperity into your life. Here's the first step. First, learn how to relax and rest. A person cannot think right when he is too much confused and worried. He needs to breathe fresh air, good supply of oxygen in his brain to revitalize his thoughts. But breathing fresh air is not enough. Your heart should also be calm, still. Your mind should be at sync with your heart. Falling out of rhythm between the two could cause more trouble. That is the reason when some people say they have heart palpitation is because the mind and the heart are not in sync. The two should be brought together in stillness, calmness, like rivers of still waters. Imagine yourself lying on the green pasture. Near you is a flowing river, but the water flow is not rushing but gently flowing, refreshing to the mind and soul. In my case, because I am a Christian, I use biblical meditation. Some people may use other kind of meditation suited to their beliefs and lifestyle. The main goal is to make your mind and heart in sync, at rest, and temporarily free from worries and fears. Why I say temporarily? Because we are not denying the existence of the problem. We are just setting the thoughts of tensions and burdens in a corner so we can receive whatever possible solutions are stored for us. Do you believe that there are many ways to solve your current problems now? Yes, you hear it right. There are many possible answers to your difficulties. These solutions are all stored in the spiritual realm, ready to be received, like opening your FM radio, adjusting its antenna, and listening to your favorite station. Once you are tuned in, you can hear whatever sounds you want to hear. And in your case, you want to hear solutions to your financial problems. The radio example is so simple. When there are so many frequencies jamming your radio station, it is tough to listen with clarity. The same with your mind. If your mind and heart are clouded with many worries, fears, and doubts, then these would cloud your judgment, and listening from the spiritual realm is rough. Set aside all those unnecessary thoughts and make every effort to be at rest, calm, and still, in your thoughts and in your heart. Once you are still, you will be surprised that you will be able to hear solutions to your problems. From the scriptures, I meditate on the book of Psalms, chapter 46, verse 10, and I quote, "Be still and know that I am God." You can sing to relax your muscles, pray, and have rhythmic breathing exercise to be calm. I am convinced that you can hear the solutions to your problems because I did it myself. Whatever you are hearing from me right now, I had experienced before. They are not theories, but my actual experiences that brought me to sanity and strength to overcome my financial problems. Second, give thanks for every blessing that comes into your life. To attract blessings and more money, begin by appreciating what you already have. Rather than focusing on what's lacking, shift your attention to the abundance that's already present. Some people call it law of attraction, others positive thinking, but in the Bible, it is very clearly stated, "In everything give thanks, for it is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you." 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 18. It is God's will, hence it should come to pass. Why do you need to abide by it? Because giving thanks or appreciating everything has so much benefits to us humans that sometimes we do not notice in our daily life. As in specific example, what will happen to your physical body if you are tensed, worried, afraid? It has tremendous bearing to your health, physical and mental. What is the benefit of appreciating things, even small things? Dopamine increase. Dopamine, a neurotransmitter linked to pleasure and motivation, can be increased naturally through various lifestyle choices, including exercise, diet, and engaging in activities that evoke positive emotions. However, appreciating things, even minute things, does not mean we are in denial. A big no. It is not an act of denial, but a balanced way of life. Chronic stress can interfere with dopamine levels. Though you have tremendous problems, either financially or physically, you want to maintain sound mind and calmness, so you can hear for the solutions to your problems. It is like a way of eliminating unnecessary airwaves in your radio receiver and receiving only good frequencies that will maintain your sanity and clarity of mind. Gratitude transforms your perspective. When you recognize how much you already have, you begin to feel rich, and feeling rich is the first step to attracting more. Take time each day to give thanks for all the financial blessings in your life, no matter how big or small. Every time you receive money from any source, take a moment to express thanksgiving and gratitude. Whether it is $1 or $1 million, whether it's a paycheck, a gift, an investment return, a great deal, or a pension, or any form of savings. pause to appreciate the flow of money into your life. By consistently doing this each time you receive money, you'll invite even more abundance to flow your way. Third, always have a mindset of a millionaire, not a victim of circumstances. There are times that you need to develop that mindset of a millionaire. What is a millionaire mindset? It is a state of mind wherein a person thinks that supply of money is unlimited, just as the universe is infinitely huge and abounding in limitless resources, so with the funds that he could invite in his life. It will follow when you're about to make a purchase. Choose something of slightly higher quality and price than what you would typically buy. Even if it's just a few dollars more than what you're used to spending. Go ahead and make the purchase, then express gratitude and thanksgiving for supporting your growing lifestyle. Though it may seem like a small step, you're teaching your mind to push past its limits. As you continue this practice, you'll start acquiring more of what you truly want, and the money will flow to you to make it possible. However, there is always a caveat emptor, a Latin phrase meaning, "Let the buyer beware." It implies that buyers take the risk in a transaction. It is a way of balance. Do not live a lifestyle wherein your expenses are more than your daily budget. It is part of a millionaire mindset. You may buy a higher quality, more expensive items as long as these purchases would not sabotage your budget. I had a classmate in college who has a very deep mindset of a millionaire. He always thought of buying high quality and expensive things like phones or electronic gadgets. But how could he manage to have this kind of lifestyle without having a steady source of income? Because we were all full-time students. My budget as a college student was fixed because I was on scholarship and my monthly allowance was good enough to cover my meals and daily subsistence. One day I asked him that question out of curiosity. "How much does your father give you as allowance?" He replied, "Only few dollars higher than what you receive from your scholarship allowance." My, how do you manage to buy new electronic gadget almost every month? Those might have cost you thousands of dollars. He smiled and winked at me. Since we entered as freshmen, every month my father gives me allowance. I would save few dollars. Every time I wanted to buy a phone or a new gadget, I would use my savings not to buy at once that desired item, but to think of doubling my money first by selling or investing. Once I doubled my holdings, I could use half of that to buy the desired item and keep the other half, which I could use again as a capital to be doubled again if I want another item. "You are insanely genius," I blurted out. "You're correct," he laughed. "Because I answered your question, spilling my secret, you have to buy my new venture now." "And what is that?" "I am printing t-shirts for our intercollegiate sports festival. You are obliged to buy from me now." Ha. "You're not only insanely genius, but a shrewd businessman," I joked. See the balance. He had not only that mindset of a millionaire at a young age, but he was also careful in every purchase he made. He had a balanced perspective of buying anything he desires, but also protecting his budget, which would not put him in debt. Currently, he is the president owner of a big trucking business which is involved in export-import of commodities. My example above will lead us to the fourth item. Fourth, find an opportunity, then pick it up. For a person to attract wealth into his life, he should be open to any possibilities. Your subconscious mind is so powerful, it can create things that you firmly believe. It starts with imagination. This is a superior quality of man as compared with any other creature here on earth. Human beings have the capability to imagine and create things. Every individual has this power. Nobody could say that he does not have this ability. The difference lies in how a person focus and set his priorities in life. If you can understand what I am saying right now, then you have this boundless power in your mind and in your hands. A lot of materials, from books to social media to podcasts, elaborate on this premise. How can you do it? What you need as a start is to relax, be calm, and in the stillness of your heart and mind, subconscious mind will manifest what you can do to attract wealth. If this is not clear to you, you have to go back to my first step. Learn how to relax and rest. Most of the world's renowned inventions, successful business ventures, endeavors that led to wealth and stories of great achievements started with a still, calm voice from within. Some say it is from a person's gut feeling or divinely inspired, from God Himself who gave those ideas. Whatever inspiration it could come from, majority of those originated from a moment of stillness. And then comes eureka moment of flashing ideas and concepts. There is one common principle self-made millionaires agree on. That is, opportunities are everywhere, if you're open to recognizing and seizing them. You can prove this to yourself by reflecting and meditating from the time you start thinking and having clarity of your purpose in life. There are likely moments in your past where you wonder what might have happened if you had seized an opportunity at the right time. These could be obvious things like career openings you missed, investment opportunities you didn't take seriously, or even less apparent chances, like an idea you once had that's now making someone else wealthy, or an industry you could have entered before it became oversaturated. Like most people, when you look back on these opportunities, you might feel like a chance has passed, and that opportunity is now lost. However, the key difference between the wealthy and the less fortunate is that rich people understand that new opportunities are constantly available, always around us, at any given time. The key is to stay alert, keep an open mind, and be ready to seize those opportunities when they present themselves. You've likely heard the saying, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. It could be true. If you actively look for money-making opportunities and prepare yourself to take action when they appear, you'll find yourself experiencing more wonderful possibilities than you ever imagined. However, luck is not enough. It is your will and hard work that would propel you to success and great wealth. It is a good practice to keep a journal of your journey from the moment you realize that you are broke until you reach that point that you can say to yourself, I finally made it. One day, it would be very refreshing to go back to your journal and review how you finally made it. Instead of feeling your painful experiences, you would be smiling, seeing yourself as broke, victim of circumstances, filled with pain and regrets, to a victor, a success filled with joy and satisfaction in life. It is never too late to change your circumstances. I can say that because I started my life journey from broke to millionaire when I was 62 years old. So if you are broke in life right now and feel that everything is bleak and hopeless, but you are younger than me, be of good cheer. You have a lot of ammunitions and strength relative to my adventure. Name it an adventure, not a problem. It may be a setback, but it is a call for you to see the brighter tomorrow. It may be difficult at first, but once you pass by that first step and make yourself at rest and calm, then you are on your way to greatness. If you say that you are older than 62 years old, remember that all things are possible to those who believe. Take the life example of Prophet Moses, who started his mission when he was 80 years old. He managed to overcome life and death situations because he believed in the one who instructed him to start his life mission. All things are possible, my friends. Your life here on earth is not an accident. It has a wonderful purpose. It ain't over till it's over. You have to believe that and make the first step. Next chapter, I will tell more details of my story, so do not forget to subscribe and like this video.